Hang on. Oh, okay.
I'd like to call the order the Finance Committee meeting for March 23rd at 5:45 PM. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Attendance roll call.
Alderman Madden.
Here.
Alderman Kubaki.
Here.
Alderman Wolf.
Here.
And Mayor Petfalski is here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Public meeting notice.
This meeting was noticed in accordance with the open meeting law.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes for March 9th, 2021.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're accepted unanimously. License approvals. Recommend approval of operators licenses.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Recommend approval of a change of agent, Sarah Drensdon, for a Class A liquor license held by Ultramart Foods LLC, DBA Pick and Save.
Motion approved. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. The next item on here, recommend approval of a Class C dance hall license and Class B license to sell fermented malt beverages and intoxicating liquors for Wisconsin's Youth Sports Association, DBA Sports Development. Nicole Lutz, agent, located on Commerce Drive. I think council's all going to want to weigh in on this, so I guess I'd be looking to move it just straight to council without a recommendation, if you guys are okay, unless you want to have two discussions.
It's fine. It works. Yep.
Someone make the motion just to move it.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. New business, recommendation to terminate tax increment districts number 8 and 9.
Move to approve. Second.
Sharon, you want to give a quick synopsis of what we're doing here?
This item was initially discussed during the budget process, and now that all relative debt has been paid in full and we have a fund balance, the time has come to actually close the TIDs. And the next step would be a full audit, a final audit basically, which we have 1 year to conduct the audit. And following that, we would distribute any remaining funds to all the taxing entities. So if anybody had any further questions or...
Aren't we're required to do this, aren't we?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are 3 mandatory rules.
Yeah.
Do you have
And we would be closing early.
approximately how much money will be distributed?
So approximately, we're looking at a total distribution of about 1.875 million. 500 would go to the city, and about a little over $1 million would go to the school district. Waukesha County, 230,000, and WCTC, 45,000.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Recommend approval of developers agreement for PEGARLLP.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. The next item, I'm going to ask to move that to council as well. Recommend of a denial of claims for, and there's a list of names there. This is for a sewer backup that happened in the Lake Brittany area. So the insurance company is given their recommendation, but I think council's all going to want to weigh in on this one as well. So I would look for a motion just to move it forward without a recommendation from finance.
Motion to move it.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Recommend award of bid for the 2021-2022 Ballparks, Boulevards, Terrace, and Facility Landscaping and Game Day Field Preparation.
Motion to approve. Second.
Questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. The next item we're going to pull because the recommend award for bid for Park Arthur for fixing fields 1, 2, and 3. That's actually, we decided we're putting that out to bid. It's gray area if you needed to put it out to bid or not, and we're figuring let's be safe and put it out there. That was all part of that TIPS approval we did a few weeks ago to give you best pricing, but I think just to be safe, we're putting it out to bid. So do I just leave that? Just leave it?
You're just pulling it.
Okay. Recommend approval of facilities use agreement between the Muskego Norway School District and the City of Muskego.
Move to approve.
Second.
This is the facilities use agreement for essentially the city and ball clubs that are affiliated with the City of Muskego to be able to use the high school sports facilities in exchange for us putting lights on the baseball field that we did instead of redoing Park Arthur number 4. Any other questions?
Yeah, I saw something. Do we have to pay so much per year after that too, or are they paying us?
No, there's this thing in there that if either one of us breaks the agreement,
No, that's what that was.
that would be the prorated amount that would come back to us. So if they break the agreement, they would have to, say halfway through it, they would have to pay us back half of the money that we put into the lights. So it was a way to protect the city. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Recommend approval of Cobblestone Court Developers Agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That passes unanimously. Voucher approval.
Motion to approve utility vouchers in the amount of $71,652.53.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
A motion to approve tax vouchers in the amount of $252,497.36.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Motion to approve general fund vouchers in the amount of $315,231.48.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously as well.
And motion to approve wire transfers for payroll transmittals in the amount of $367,678.07.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously as well. There is no finance director's reports, any communications or any miscellaneous business. If
Move
there's-
to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 6:53. 5:53, sorry, that too.
Okay. We fixed the clock anyway.
What do we need for a quorum for,
Need the same,
so we need to set 5 for that?
yeah, you need the same.
We need Bob before we can start. Yeah.
Need a quorum, yeah.
And it's not all.
It's gotta stay. I'd stay. If you can.
People playing that much.
I'd like to call the order of the Big Muskego Lake Board of Commissioners for March 23rd, 2021. We've done the pledge. Roll call attendance.
Commissioner Wolf,
Here.
Commissioner Hamel,
Here.
Commissioner Terrence,
Here.
Commissioner Kapusta is not here, Commissioner Engelhardt is not here, Commissioner Kubaki, Commissioner Madden,
Here.
and Mayor Petfalski is here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Statement of public notice.
This meeting was noticed in accordance with the open meeting law.
Approval of the minutes from January 26th, 2021.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Deputy Commissioners report regarding status of the lake. Thank you,
Is it
Ron.
on?
It's on.
Yeah.
You're good.
Good evening.
Hi,
What do you want to know?
Tell us about the lake.
It's still there.
That's good.
Thank you for the report.
Quite a bit of activity, more so than lately on Bass's Bay for ice fishing. I'm not so sure about the big lake. The ice is off as of 2 Mondays ago. With all that horrendous wind that we had, it took care of that. And there's quite a bit of activity on the lakes now, especially Bass's Bay with boats. Notice that every day there's 4 or 5 sitting out on the small pond out there. As far as the big lake, I'm unaware, but I do see cars and trailers at the different landing sites around Big Muskego. What they're catching, if they're catching, couldn't tell you. First ice off is generally a good time for, the fish. So, but I haven't gotten any reports from any of my friends and neighbors who do go out there, so they're keeping it a secret. About all I have. Tom, you got anything additional? Well, then why don't you come on up and fill them in? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Hello. There was a concern because there's heavy snow cover this year with possible winter kill. The deep snow cover blocks sunlight from oxygen production, photosynthesis that would go on underneath the ice. And I did measure the dissolved oxygen at one point where it got really low in one area of the lake. And but there have been no reports of fish kill, significant areas of fish kill. We were kayaking on Saturday and saw no dead fish in that trip, so that's a good sign.
Do you see any live ones?
No. They swam away. A lot of ducks, though. There's an incredible amount of waterfowl on the lake right now. The DNR was going to do a burn of the western cattail fringe. I don't know if that was talked about at a previous meeting. It would have been several hundred acres on the west side, but they would do that during winter. And the reason they do that is to reduce the amount of dead cattail material and make it easier for muskrats to get in there, and they eat the lush green vegetation. And then what they do is they kill a certain area, or they reduce a certain area of cattails and create an open area of water. And in the middle of that water, they've got their lodge, and that creates nesting habitat for ducks. So in a roundabout way, it helps create these little pothole openings of water and better habitat for wildlife.
They didn't do that, did they? Did they do it?
They did not do the burn.
Okay.
And so I think I've tried to call the wildlife manager today to see if they might still do it. I think it was a winter thing. They wanted to do it while there was ice and some snow. So I think they're going to do that next year. They did this 2 years in a row at Vernon Marsh. I don't know if anybody saw the big plume of smoke last year or several weeks ago. So they did that procedure. It's common to do it at Horicon Marsh as well. So they want to do it here on the west side of Big Muskego Lake, so perhaps next winter. And that's it as far as lake update that I have.
Any questions for any of these gentlemen? Thank you. Thanks
If you
for
have any
making-
questions about the
Oh,
weed
have
agreement,
you,
then we can.
are you going to do a chemical treatment this year?
Yes,
And are you
That-
permitted
so-
for that yet? Are you,
we have the DNR permit already, and then I believe the approval of the contract is tonight, right?
Yes, you might as well stand there in case there's any questions.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
All right. Moving on to new business, authorization for the chair to sign water management agreement with Innovative Water Care LLC, DBA Marine Biochemists.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions on this? Old Tom's here. This is just the chemical treatment for,
Yeah, it's the same contractor we've worked with for years. He's really good. What I like about them is they'll be honest and let us know when it doesn't need treatment, which is nice. We don't spend money that we don't have to. So I think this represents about a 2.5% increase from last year. So that's just kind of cost of living, kind of a normal inflation rate, I think.
all right. Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Is there any communications or
Thank you.
miscellaneous business? If none, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Oh, one more thing, miscellaneous. The Eagles, having nested stole the Osprey platform 3 years ago and have been nesting there since. We did affix cameras up there, hoping to get pictures of them. Unfortunately, they decided to nest in a tree. That's not uncommon for them to build another nest somewhere else. And they're very, very close by on that western shoreline near Nature Estates subdivision.
So the videos that you were showing me are no longer?
Well, they may visit, they may land there just for a resting stop, whatever. However, that was a prime location for ospreys, so I wouldn't doubt that ospreys come back to that particular nest. But we do have other cameras on the ones that the ospreys would come back to. So the ospreys are due back usually about the first week of April is when you first see them, so
Not to
anytime.
discriminate against ospreys, but eagles are cooler.
There are one-third the amount of ospreys as eagles, so ospreys are actually more remarkable to have here, but everybody likes eagles.
Kind of an American thing.
Yeah.
All right, I think we had a motion. Did we have a second to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 6:05 PM.
Wait.
Oops, sorry. I gotta wait till she changes. My fault.
I was working on notes. so
Yeah, no, my bad.
Sorry about that. Okay.
All right. I'd like to call the order of the Common Council meeting for March 23rd, 2021 at 6:05 PM. Roll call.
Alderman Madden,
Here.
Alderman Kubaki,
Here.
Alderman Engelhardt is not here. Alderman Kapusta is not here. Alderman Terrence.
Here.
Alderman Hamel.
Here.
Alderman Wolf.
Here.
And Mayor Petfalski is here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Communications and miscellaneous, communications from the mayor's office.
Public meeting.
Do a statement of notice.
I'm sorry. Statement of public notice?
This meeting was noticed in accordance with the open meeting law.
And I jumped way ahead on this. Public comment. Anyone here wish to make a comment in front of the Common Council on any agenda item? Going once, twice. All right, now we're moving on to communications from the mayor's office, and I have something I have to read to you. The city of Muskego must annually submit an MS4 municipal separate storm sewer system permit to the Wisconsin DNR by March 31st of each year. The city of Muskego has submitted their MS4 permit. Please see, there's an attached document. A stipulation of this permit is to inform, notify elected officials of this MS4 permit as well as posting it to the City of Muskego website. So consider yourself notified. That saves us doing a separate resolution and having a vote on it. Moving on to consent agenda. Could I have a motion for that? It's approval of the minutes from March 9th, 2021, approval of operators licenses, approval of Resolution 027-2021, approval of facilities use agreement between the Muskego Norway School District and the City of Muskego, Resolution 028-2021, approval of developers agreement for PEGARL LLP, Resolution 029-2021, establishing traffic regulations, no parking signs on Park Drive, Resolution 030-2021, award of bid for the 2021-2022 Parks, Boulevards, Terraces, and Facilities Landscaping and Game Day Field Preparation, and Resolution 035-2021, approval of Cobblestone Court Developers Agreement.
Move to approve in gross except for 029.
I'd also like to take off the 034.
034 is not in there.
It's not on,
Oh, is that, okay, I went down too far, sorry.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Moving on to
029 was pulled.
what?
He pulled 029.
Yes, that's what I'm going to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
No.
thought you were moving on.
No. Moving on to Resolution 029-2021, establishing traffic regulations, no parking sign on Park Drive. Can you get it to the floor?
Motion first.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Now you can go.
I'm not a sign guy. Let me frame this. The people at Bay Breeze had complained of trespassers going on their beach during the summertime. I don't know if it occurred once, twice, 10 times, or if it's a daily event. Their proposal is to put up no parking signs, but I think between 10 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock in the morning along a short stretch on the west side of Park, about 200 feet north of Janesville for another about 200 feet. Across the street are a series of homes with very limited parking in front of those homes. The chief of police made a comment, which I thought was remarkable, that they've never been called about trespassers on the beach. Well, if someone's on my beach, I certainly will call the police, but they've never been called. His suggestion, which I tend to agree with, is if this happens again, call the police. They'll take the appropriate action, either cite people or speak with them. I'm thinking this is probably a group of children, kids, high school kids. When the police approach a group of high school kids once, it sometimes takes, it spreads around and people just don't do that anymore. So his suggestion was if it doesn't work by calling the police, then you can always put up signs in the future. And I tend to agree with that. I'd rather see us hold off on the signs, call the police if this does occur. I think it's going to cause a lot of problems for those series of homes on the east side of Park, all the way down to Lake Street. Lake Street has no parking on it, and from Lake Street going south, there's no parking for the first 75 feet or so on the west side. So my suggestion was let the police do their work, leave these signs out of it. If we can always do this in the future if it does become a problem.
Yeah, during the meeting, I was kind of torn about this because no parking, is that really going to stop somebody from trespassing? Hard to say. If they really want to get there, they'll find another way to get there. But I do think having the no parking signs is another tool in their tool belt. Because if they do see cars there, the police can go up there and check to see if people are on the beach without being called first. Maybe I think what we can do is review this after, leave it, the parking signs and with enforcement, because I think you need to have both. You cannot have the signs without enforcement. So you need to have the enforcement like the chief said. But maybe we should come back and review it after the 4th of July weekend.
So you're saying put the signs there and take them down?
Yes, put the signs there
I think I'd rather have you wait if you're gonna do one of the two,
have
but
them wait? 'Cause,
Well, I
you know,
mean-
I was gonna,
putting signs up and taking them down is, I don't think that's the way to do it, but,
I don't know what it goes into taking them down. It
I don't
doesn't,
remember once in the
Oh, you gotta
last
put the
10 years,
poles
we
in.
took signs down.
yeah.
because I would like to revisit this maybe after the 4th, after a busy weekend, and see if there were a lot of instances where people were trespassing and the police came up there.
Why don't you just, I mean, one thing you could do is just defer this whole thing till like the last meeting in July. Or we only have one in July, do we have two?
I think there's one in July.
Or the first one in August? You could defer it until such a time till you can see
I would
if there's
say
been
the- yeah,
problems.
the-
That way you don't have to re-go through this
The
whole thing.
latest
It's
meeting
all
in July,
sitting. And it also gives, I mean, I'm sure Tom would like to argue his point on it. He's not here.
And I was here for the meeting, and I heard some concerning things as we were leaving, too, when somebody said, well, you know, the people across the street, they can park there because cops can check the plates and realize
Yeah,
they
you don't
live
do
there.
that.
And that doesn't work.
No.
You're either going to get a ticket or you're not. So I think
If
it
it says
is
no,
going
it
to.
says no.
Yeah, right. So I think we should defer it and let the police do their job first by having people call when there's somebody on there and see if they can get rid of the problem that way. And then we'll come back in August or whatever and re-look at it.
Is that agreeable?
yeah, I think so. I guess one concerning thing that was brought up is nobody has ever called the police. So how can they enforce it if they don't know? And just sit there and complain about it? I was just thinking at the time that the signs would give them an extra tool to work with.
Well, it was my thought too. If they, police know that there was no parking there and they're driving by and they see cars parked there, it just gives them reason to investigate. But if they're not calling the police on their own complaints, you know, it's something.
Even with, you know, without not having any signs there, if police drive by, you know, they could still go up there and I guess investigate if they see cars parked there.
Yeah.
Well, I always been under the impression that the city wants to put as little amount of signage out as possible. And if we need it, we need it, we make the exception and do it, but if we don't need it, we don't do it. So I think that rather than bring this back to council, maybe we should go back to public safety or something before it comes back up to us. It's their recommendation to tell us if we really need to put signs up, or public works or whatever. I just know when I've been on those committees, it's always been, we don't want to put signs up. You know, we want to keep it as sign-free as possible. If it's needed, it's needed, but we can send it back down and have it talked about back in July, I think, in whatever meeting it's called now.
I don't know
forgot
if
what it's
we
called.
need to
Yeah,
really send it back
From a
down.
process standpoint, the committee did make a recommendation unanimously to approve it.
Yeah, we don't have to
I think
accept
if
it.
council's got an issue with it and you don't want to just outright kill it without having it to go through that process again, I think the best thing to do would be just defer till the either July or August meeting. If there's going to be problems in that, you know, in that area, it's going to rear its head by then. And then you can act appropriately if you think this is a tool to use, or you can kill it at that point. I guess it's not saying outright no to the people who asked for it, but it's not saying yes. It's just kind of like, let's wait and see, which I think might be appropriate in this case.
It's a good suggestion. Yeah.
So if that's appropriate, somebody make that motion and we can vote on that.
So moved, whatever the mayor said.
So July or August meeting, which one?
July.
First meeting in August.
Who's gonna write up what he said?
So the motion is to defer this item until the first meeting in August. Who made the second?
That was me.
John did.
A second.
Discussion on the motion? Oh, there is no. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item is deferred. Thank you. All right, moving on to new business. Resolution 032, 2021, a resolution to terminate tax increment districts 8 and 9.
Motion approved?
Second?
Discussion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote?
Alderman Madden,
Yes.
Alderman Kubaki.
Yes.
Alderman Terrence.
Yes.
Alderman Hamel,
Yes.
Alderman Wolf.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Thank you. Resolution 033, 2021, recognition of Police Chief Richard Wren's service to the city.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? So I'm planning, there is a resolution here for you to sign. They all signed except for the two that are here. I'm going to present this to him on April 16th. There's going to be an event here in the council chambers during the day. You all get invites for it. Figured that'd be the best. It's his last day here. We're going to have a little lunch and things like that. So it'd be a good day to present it. So that's why he's not here. That's why I didn't invite him at least. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you, Chief. Resolution 034, 2021, denial of claims for Matthew and Daniel McCarroll, Trish Crocker, Michael and Sherry Hallman, Richard and Virginia Randa, Michael and Susan Hockey, and Michael and Jean Reitz.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
I see this letter went out, and it doesn't say that we're having a meeting on a certain date that these people can actually come and express their opinions about what happened. So I would like to defer this and have them contacted to see if they would like to voice their opinion. Plus, we're missing 2 aldermen on top of it as a city to weigh in on such a big, I mean, something that doesn't happen or hasn't happened in that area. And I'm concerned because I was told that this was clogged up by construction material, including a manhole cover, which actually caused it. I don't know if it's true or not. I'd like to hear some on that. And I think that because of the school being built in that area, and this has not really happened there, that I have concerns that if we were responsible or not for this, I'd like to hear from all the people if they'd like to come to a meeting.
Not to weigh in on your motion to defer, I just want to do a correction. The damage that you're citing was for a different claim, the manhole and the construction debris for sewer backup. It wasn't for this one.
Okay, I was told by the people here that they were told by somebody in the city that that's what happened and caused it.
They might have mixed up when I know I talked to one of the gentlemen there and explained that we had something like that similar happen in a different part of the city, and it was from what I discussed.
Yeah, I think that was before you even got involved with this that I heard that, but.
Okay. But that's not,
But
that wasn't the cause.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
I just wanted to correct that part.
That's good to know, because that's what I was under the belief of, but I still have concerns that how this has happened in an area that has never happened before.
But it's been investigated, I guess. I mean, it's been thoroughly investigated.
But there's nothing in the letter that tells the people that we're going to be telling them that we're voting on it today. I mean, we're just saying we're denying it on a letter, but it doesn't tell them how it's denied. And today would be the day it would be denied. So I'm just having, I just think that we're not being upfront to the people. They should have a right to come if they'd like to come and voice their opinion.
Is there any concerns on timing?
Yes. We have to, Christine, was it?
Turn your microphone on.
Yeah, we have a certain amount of time before we can.
We only have 120 days from the date that the claim gets put in to notify them that we're going to deny the claim. If we do that, it knocks the statute of limitations down to just 6 months for them to be able to sue us. If we don't notify them in that time, then the regular statute of limitations applies, and that's 6 years.
But we did notify them, right? So
No.
this is, the letter's not a notification?
That's from the insurance company. You have to, as a group, notify them that you're denying the claim.
Right, the clerk, you have to do it, and then the clerk sends out a letter, and I normally prepare those letters the day after.
This
so-
letter here didn't go out to them?
It did, from the insurance company.
The one that has your name up on the top that I'm looking at, March 18th, 2021? I'm just confused. This one went out to them.
No, what you're looking at with
Your
my name on there,
councils.
that's just for you, that's for council. The
Okay.
letter that went out to them is the letter that the insurance company put out to each individual, and that's just saying that the insurance company is recommending to you guys to deny the claim. You still have the power to do whatever you want, but the time for people, I mean, people normally look at the agenda and that's how they know to come here tonight. So it was noticed for tonight. I really expected people to be here.
Well, that's was my concern. Nobody's here, and it doesn't sell them that it's going to be, you know, with the coronavirus and the way the government works, I've always erred on the side that people are not informed enough to show up for the meetings, especially with something of this size. And I think that I just believe they should have the opportunity to understand how the government works and be here for it. I mean, I know we put a notice out, but they're not entrenched in the government, you know, so it's, other than a letter coming out.
How many of these people have called the city?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've all been in contact.
All 6 of them. I've talked to a few over the phone. But again, I can't sit here today and recommend that you don't deny this because the statute of limitations is then 6 years. So then anytime between now and the next 6 years, you can be sued on these.
When does that limitation, the shorter limitation, expire?
I think it's, do you remember what day it is? Tomorrow or sometime at the end of this month? Because the way our meetings are set up, if you don't do it today, you'd have to call a special meeting. When is the last one, Christine? Was it March?
I don't remember.
I don't have the exact day. It's in March. So we wouldn't be having another meeting prior to you having to deny this. So that's the reason why I put it on tonight. It had to go on tonight so I could get the notice out to each individual.
So each of these people have been spoken to by some member of the city?
I've talked to a few. I don't know if you've talked to a few.
I talked to Hallman.
So I've talked to Crocker. I don't know if, and I've talked to Hockey, I don't know if every single person has been notified.
Okay.
But they got their letter from the insurance company. What they could have done or should have done is knew that this was coming up, so you look at the agenda. That's how people get noticed.
Right.
You look at the agenda and then they know to come. Or any of you could have contacted them and said it's on the agenda tonight. But there's nothing that I or the city has to do to tell them, hey, this is your day. It's just like anything else. It gets noticed on the agenda, and if people want to come, they come. If they don't come, they don't come. So I don't know why they're not here, but again, I can't sit up here and advise you not to do this today because of the statute of limitations.
Well, you know, shame on us for only having a day to do this. For the people, you know, the residents of Muskego. And when you get an insurance letter in the mail telling you it's denied, they're probably thinking, oh, well, it's a done deal. I mean, why would they think that the city's going to change their mind if that's what they got without having I mean, I don't know why they're not notified. I would have thought that would have been in the letter.
Well, and I'm not arguing with you, but the second paragraph says, we recommend the city of Muskego disallow your claim. So it's not saying that your claim is denied. It's saying we recommend that the city of Muskego disallow it. And the next step then is to put it on a council meeting, which is what
Well,
I did.
if you understand the way the government works, and the average citizen is worried about fixing their home from damage, paying their taxes and having their garbage picked up, and that's about the most, I mean, the two last things are the most people want, is their garbage picks up, you know, the streets cleaned, whatever, you know, it's just, I just feel that we're doing a disservice and we're creating a problem by trying to push this through because we only have a day to do it. I don't like the process, good or bad, that's the way it works. I don't like the process of it. I think I would feel a little betrayed by the city if I was one of these people, or if it happened to me in my house, you know.
Well, we could have taken it upon ourselves to contact these people. We didn't.
You're right, we didn't, but
I mean,
we get
if
this
they were
on,
in my aldermanic district, I would have called these people.
we get this on Friday and I wasn't in town. And then what are you going to do? I mean, it's only my responsibility as a part-time person when we have a full-time staff here at City Hall to take care of a situation where we have letters going out without telling anybody that there's a date coming up.
But it's been duly noticed. I mean, it's,
Okay, that's fine. I understand all that, but I still feel that it's just not respectful.
Can I ask a
people.
question, I guess? If this room was filled with these 6 people, would you change your vote any? I mean, I've been involved in city government for 20-some years, not city government, but government, and been following city government for 20-some years. I've seen these things come forward. I've never seen them approved, because they shouldn't be.
Well,
I mean,
we
I
had,
understand
we
the
had one where
concerns.
we had a street that wasn't finished and somebody defaulted and they were no longer around and we ended up finishing it and paying for it and it was supposed to be the 6 or 13 houses on the street. So yeah, I've seen something similar,
Not like this I have, not for.
but it's still a claim similar to, it's a claim and people were notified and they showed up to the meeting. But anyway,
Let me ask a question. At one time, the city had funds that were available to fund certain projects. And I know that they were kind of available for the Janesville Road area. And I believe in
was that
last year's-
CDs?
Yeah,
whatever.
CDA. And I believe those funds were held in abeyance from the budget last year. Those are the unused funds, I think that, Rob, that you were talking about.
Oh, moving the money over into the budget?
Right.
Yeah, I
And-
forgot what you called it, yeah.
And the discussion came down to using those funds, a one-time funding source for ongoing areas. If those funds are available, and we could make those funds available to these homeowners, might be a good solution. I don't know if
Bad
it's even,
precedence, I'll tell you that.
but we've used those funds before.
But not okay, so we've had sewer backups in the city of Muskego going back as far as I can remember. There is insurance that that any good insurance agent should be telling their client they should have, and they should be making them aware of the limitations that some policies have, because some policies, you can only get 5,000. But a good insurance agent should be notifying their clients, letting them know that if you have a sewer backup, it's not the city's responsibility, because it's not. If we do this, what you're referring to, what does that tell people that this has happened to in the past or in the future? I mean, this is part of homeownership, and
But you're right.
I rue the day that if I ever get a sewer backup in my basement, because there's probably not much more disgusting things I can think that could happen to my house that I would have no fault of my own over. But there are some things that happen in life that you have to be prepared for, and part of that is by having the proper insurance for it. And I know these people did nothing wrong, but neither did the city, neither did the taxpayers of the city of Muskego. They did nothing wrong as well. This is just, it's something that happens, unfortunately. Now, if there was something that we did that we knew about, or neglected maintenance purposefully in that area versus other areas, yes, then I would say we have some culpability, but that's not the case here. It was invested. If that was the case, our insurance company would have actually covered it, so we would have been fine. The insurance company investigated all this, found out that no, we didn't do anything neglectful. We weren't responsible for anything. So what you'd be admitting for, I don't care where the money comes from, a rich uncle or the tax base, we're paying something out that we have no liability or responsibility for, and it's not our money; it's the taxpayers' money.
Okay, I just want to just say one point here, and then we'll round this all up. I'm just sad that they're not here. We get the stuff on Friday, we have the meeting on Tuesday, and it's due tomorrow. That's just, why can't I ask for a deferral on, I didn't have to notify these people. I should be able to come here and ask for a deferral, and if we got it, then we can have the people come, but we can't, I'm almost being told I shouldn't be asking for a deferral because we have to get the letters out, or we can be sued. So the process it's not going smoothly.
I'll grant that to you.
It's not smooth.
I'll grant it to you, Rob.
That's my whole dilemma.
I have no answer for you besides the fact that the insurance company did just notify us. We got
that's
this on the
fine.
next meeting as soon as we could, and I know when you assumed what it means, but as much as these people were in contact with the city throughout this whole process, I assume they knew when this was based on everything else, because they've been on top of everything else all the way through.
But the point is,
So,
the point is, Rick,
and I
that
did warn them that this would
tomorrow
probably be
it's
denied.
due,
I get that.
That's see, I should be able to come
that's
here
on
and
me.
defer it.
Yeah, I'll take responsibility.
But I should be able
but
to
the
come here
letter
and
is-
ask and even lose that battle of asking for a deferral without having a dilemma put on it that's creating the problem that I can't even ask for the deferral.
I mean, the letter's dated the 15th, so it's not like the insurance company gave it back in January. Like, the letter was 8 days ago from the insurance company, so.
It's not unusual for the insurance company to take the whole 120 days and notify us. This is just unfortunately, I hear you, I feel bad for these people. It's unfortunately just how the system works. And I know you're saying it's all quick and everything.
So I'm going to add one last thing here, and then we can move on. My job as an alderman is to fight for the residents, and my fight maybe is not to approve this, but my fight is to let them be heard for it, and let the process work. And we're not letting the process work. We're stopping the process because we have a due date, and I think that it's all way too fast, and it's just not fair. And of course, life's not fair, but it really is not fair that we're in this last second dilemma. We should have a little bit more leeway of time, and for whatever reason, and if that's how it works, that's how it works. But I'm just sad that nobody's here to be able to express themselves, and we're in a dilemma they can't.
And I hear you on all that. And like I said, I assumed for as engaged as they were throughout this whole process, that they were well aware of what that letter meant and that they would have followed it, but it's on me. I'll take responsibility for that.
Well, I could have notified them too, but the dilemma is it's just so quick. You know, I mean, we get our notifications on Friday, and if you're lucky, you get to start looking at them sometimes till Saturday. And I just, like I said, I thought I could do my due process and ask for a deferral. But, okay, that's all I got.
I'm in that same category that the mayor had mentioned. I don't think it would make a difference if they were here. I feel really bad, but there's a side of, yes, we have to look out for residents, but there's another 20,000 plus people that we would then be pulling resources from to pay for somebody else when we're not liable. So it sucks to say no, and it sucks to say, sorry, you had $40,000 in damage. We aren't responsible for it, but we aren't. And so it wouldn't change my vote, but I certainly would sympathize and hope that never happens to my home either. So I don't think a deferral for me would make much of a difference if they were here or they weren't.
Any other? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Okay,
Just look as you do.
yeah, I know.
So we're voting to approve the denial,
Alderman-
right? Okay.
Alderman Madden,
Yes.
Alderman Kubaki,
Yes.
Alderman Terrence,
Yes.
Alderman Hamel.
Yes.
Alderman Wolf.
No.
All right, it's been approved 4-1. Thank you. Moving on to license approvals. Approval of change of agent, Sarah Drenzen for
Did you
class.
do committee report?
Finance
Did
committee
not,
stuff?
I'm sorry. Review of committee reports, Finance Committee and Public Works and Safety Committee for July 20th, 28th, August 25th, November 17th, and December 15th. I guess you guys haven't had those here in a while. We don't approve those.
No,
I mean,
just
it's
you,
just saying it.
yeah.
All right, now we're moving on to license approval. Approval of change of agent for Sarah Dresden's for a Class A liquor license held by Ultra Mart Foods LLC, DBA Pick and Save.
Move to approve.
Oops, second.
I think Madden made the motion.
Kevin
Seconded. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Approval of a Class C dance hall license and Class B license to sell fermented malt beverages and intoxicating liquor for Wisconsin Youth Sports Association, DBA Sports Development, Nicole Lutz agent, located at W160 South 6369 Commerce Drive.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
And I'm very uncomfortable with this. It's not like we're just asking for beer and wine here. And it does say youth, which implies it's going to be mostly kids. And I think that the license they're asking for allows them much more than they really need in many ways.
comments, questions, anyone else?
Is there anyone here from that organization?
Yes. Would one of you two like to come up? Maybe explain to the council what your vision is here and.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Lutz. So we are under the Wisconsin Youth Sports Association, but we have recently just moved out of West Dallas from less than 11,000 square feet into a 36,000 square foot building. So it's massive, and our operating expenses are much larger than we had prior. So we're looking at other ideas to generate revenue for our nonprofit. And one of them is doing other programs outside of our youth. So those programs will be developed from the April to August months when the youth are actually traveling or outside for their activities. So these will be programs mostly for adults, held for adults in the evenings, or programs for certain things like baseball card trading shows that are mostly done through organizations that have facilities the size of ours. So offering out beverages, alcoholic beverages, just allows us to generate more revenue for our facility and keep up with the growing expenses that we are incurring.
Does anyone have any questions for Mrs. Lutz?
So I don't think, I mean, if they're granted that license, we have no say about what time they decide they're going to use it or not. So if we grant the license, they can use it, you decide to use it when there's a youth game going on. We can't prevent that.
Would this change their BSO?
I don't think so.
We wouldn't have to go back to plan for our BSO amendment?
I don't think so.
So, no.
Yeah, and that's what concerns me, because when you're looking at making money and you see an opportunity, you're not thinking about, oh, this is mostly kids. You're thinking about, especially when you find how much you can bring in with the adults, and then you think, well, if we could just add this to the kids' games, yeah, I guess I'm just not comfortable with it being in a youth. I mean, maybe if you came in and you said you just wanted beer and wine, you know, like that's a different license, if I'm not mistaken, for just.
Which you guys could amend to you could amend that today if you wanted to limit it to. That's within your authority to do that. You know, one of the things to be cognizant of either way is they are one of there's at least two other youth indoor baseball facilities in Muskego. So word travels. If it's a good fundraising idea for them, it might be a good fundraising idea for the other ones. So just keep that precedent in mind of what's going on. Their facility, I'll grant you, is much more grandiose, nicer. It's the state of the art. I mean, it's really what any 12-year-old boy would like to die and wake up at. It is a nice facility, but there are two other ones in town here that, you know, I could see them asking for something similar. So just keep that in mind with whatever you decide.
Would beer and wine be sufficient for what your plans are?
I think there's opportunity in either license. You know, I think, you know, the concerns are valid, but we planned to be responsible when we have those specific events that are more geared towards adults and those over 21. You know, I look at it more like a bowling alley type atmosphere where there's activities for kids to do as well as adults. And that is something that we've talked about as a board as well. So I think there's an opportunity. We're just grateful to be here, so I'm open to hearing, you know, what you guys all approve.
Well, I remember being involved in sports and going out to Waukesha by the airport. I can't think of the name there.
Center Court's a good example.
And they have alcohol.
They still do, yes.
But you can't bring it out into the courts, at least the basketball courts. I don't know what else they have there. I can't remember, but it's been a long time. They serve complete full liquor line. What's that?
They have it limited to their food area there.
Right, and they have a full liquor line. I mean, your little drawing here doesn't give me much to go on comparison to, I believe the other one that opened close to McGuanago, it's now a firework place, also served alcohol. I can't think of the name of that place, that closed up.
Yeah, the bar part was long necks, but I don't think they served.
Not
in-
fireworks, I think it's a union hall or something.
It's a union hall, but yes, I know exactly.
They
what you're
served,
talking about.
they had alcohol as well.
But just in the bar area, I don't think they had a
Again,
sports course.
so this doesn't give me much, I don't understand really what's going on with this drawing.
Yeah, there's two areas. We have two concession stands, basically. One is in the facility itself, and then one is a private rental area on the other side of the building. And so there's two, it would be hard to say the bar area because that's 36, that's the whole field area and access into where
So
activities
field
are
being outside field?
No, there's no
That's
outside
inside,
field.
okay.
It's all
see, that-
indoors,
That's what,
yes.
see, I don't understand this whole picture, so.
Yeah,
that-
yes.
Okay, so they can take the alcohol throughout the whole facility, is your plans?
Yes.
And like she said, Eileen said, this is called a youth center?
No, we're called Halo Athletics. So our nonprofit is the Wisconsin Youth Sports Association, the WYSA, and we do business as the Milwaukee Angels and the Halo facility. So they're two separate entities, basically, under the umbrella of our nonprofit.
Okay, because I heard it's listed as Wisconsin Youth Sports Association.
Yes, that's our umbrella. So that's the main organization.
And it's a nonprofit organization?
And then the Halo facility is a separate entity than Milwaukee Angels Baseball, which is our youth program. And so basically, the Milwaukee Angels rent from our facility. They rent their time and space. The Halo facility operates as its own and wants to bring in more organizations. Like we plan to meet with the rec department of Muskego to see if they can run programs through our organization. It's just not for the youth baseball. They actually are paying the facility to have their time there.
Maybe you can help us out by maybe stepping back a little bit and reformulating this, give us a better idea of what you're looking at. This drawing doesn't tell me anything, and maybe containing the use of alcoholic beverages to segregated areas. Because I just don't feel comfortable saying, yeah, carte blanche, you're good. But maybe you can maybe frame this a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, so the concession stand in the field area the activities are going on in that area. Just think of it as a big square. So once you leave the office building area, it goes into the facility, and that's where the concession stand is. So the doors open, and all you see is baseball field and baseball cages. That is one area. The other one is off to the side. It's completely private. That is more for private rentals to do parties or birthday parties or 50th birthday parties or whatever it may be. So there's two separate areas that we're looking for approval.
Would this license apply to both of those areas?
Yes, I believe so.
The application would cover the whole
Yes.
facility.
The whole facility.
So, and I'm not piling on here, I just want to make sure that they're all aware of all this. Granting the license as applied right now would also give them gaming machines,
Which means
slot
like,
machines.
Slot machines.
or, yeah.
Now, that can be restricted. You guys could restrict that if you want. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I just want to make you, I just don't want you guys to.
Again, I've been in
I don't think we
facilities.
added the gaming machines on right now. Jill
Well-
told me I could do it whenever I wanted, so I said no at this point.
But it would give you the right
Oh,
unless
it'd give
they
us the right
restrict
to
it.
And
have
I've,
it.
and I've seen that in places where they sell the scratch-off lottos more than
Right.
anything.
So I just
but,
want
you know.
to make sure that you guys, if you guys approve it, that all of a sudden you hear there's slot machines at the kids' baseball thing, that you're not shocked. So just go in this with your eyes open.
Now, does that, I don't know, Jeff, does that slot machines have to be in a certain area, right? Probably closer to, or they can be anywhere in the,
Anywhere in the licensed area.
Wherever the license is, so it could be anywhere. You know, it's hard to visualize this.
Now,
I
well,
agree with you.
that's my problem is the visualization. I don't really have a problem with the whole thing. I just like to understand how it works, so I would not have a problem with the whole thing.
So picture this room. You walk in, they have an area which would be like the area back there that are the offices and lobby area. Then you go into this huge room that's literally has batting cages and a full regulation size infield, like in this corner. And then there's a wall, almost like where the council thing is there. And that's like the weight room and that private area they're talking about. So that's pretty much the layout of the whole thing.
And there's seating to watch the games, is that what there is?
There is, yeah.
There is? Oh, where was that? I missed that.
It's, well, you would stand, we just got the stools in, so they were,
Okay.
it's a countertop that goes along
Yes.
the
Oh, yeah.
fencing area.
Yeah.
And there, it's not a lot of seating, but there is seating out there.
So I kind of like the idea that Kevin came up with. It gives us more information. I mean, there's two things we can do is you can come back with some pictures. You have the facilities done,
Yeah,
or like we've done with building the Parkland Mall buildings, we actually toured it. If you guys want to do a tour, I don't know, to feel comfortable, or else you can approve it or disapprove it today, so.
I mean, I just think through the places I've been, and like was mentioned, there's a number of parks and indoor, outdoor, when your kids are playing and they're, making margaritas at the stand. So there's it is a thing that's there, and I think the bowling alley is a good example, right? You go with your family, and some people are at the bar, some people are at the snack stand. I think when done well, it fits and it gives them that revenue stream that, the other side is when they're not, parents usually bring a cooler, and in the cooler is, it's mommy's stuff, right? That is what it is. You're laughing, but it's true.
Yeah,
so,
Mama's water.
Yeah,
That's
mommy's
what they
water
call
is in the cooler. Or like when we go to Bloom and play, the parents are up at the pavilion and they've all got beers. So I mean, whether that's the plan for the park, that's what they're doing. So I think that shift to these indoor facilities, there's going to be more and more of that, and having the ability for that facility to be all in one, to have the ability to provide refreshments, whether it's for the kids, for the adults, and to have them there allows them to, I think, really create a place that people want to stay at and want to be at. So I'm a fan. I know that if you're saying, hey, more of a detailed written plan would help, then maybe that's something we could ask for, to say, hey, come back to us with, take some pictures, give us an outline, here's the events we're looking at doing. Did you see the picture? I saw their drawing, but I've also, I've seen the facility, yeah, it's nice. Yeah. So
Another example is anywhere in Wisconsin Dells, like the Woodside Sports Complex.
Oh, I've
is
been
full-
there
It's
too.
a full bar, full alcohol.
That's true.
There's kids are there. Also, the baseball fields, which is mostly youth, has a full bar and alcohol
I've
served.
been in Chicago
Outdoors
area,
as well.
the same thing down there.
Yeah, and that's not, again, it's not for the youth part of it, right? Our main concern is the revenue we get from adult programs that we can build over time. But we do want a broader license, and there will be times, like when we run our annual fundraiser, that youth is there.
Be huge for
And
you.
there is, there are parents that are indulging in alcoholic beverages. So, but overall, it's more for our adult programs throughout summer to kind of bring that constant revenue stream in for us.
Well, I have to say that after seeing, thank you, Mayor, for showing me the picture there. It makes me more familiar with what you're trying to accomplish here. I tell you what, when I used to take my kids there, I would have a drink, so.
We all stuck them in Red Soul cups.
But not when I was coaching.
depends on the team.
So I guess, there's a number of things in front. You could outright approve the thing as presented. You could change it to a fermented or malted beverage only. You can limit if you're going to allow the gaming machines. I mean, you have all different options. So I'm just
Well,
throwing that smorgasbord
I'll
out.
tell you what, I'm not really a beer drinker. And if I went there and they told me it was only beer and wine, I probably wouldn't be as happy. And,
You're never happy.
no.
Oh, golly.
Listen, I'll be happy when the meeting's over.
I'm okay with it as is, but
Yeah, I am too.
I guess I'd like to see the facility.
We would love to have you.
And I don't think a tour would be a bad idea. I'd also like to see some limitations as far as where alcoholic beverages can be taken. And I know in some facilities, they can't go further than, X, Y, or whatever. And I think that would be helpful for me in granting a license. So I guess my recommendation is, I'd like to see us hold on to this, take a little tour of the place. Maybe you guys think about limitations as far as where alcoholic beverages can travel to in your facility. I can just see, I can just see Rob hitting the ball off a tee, with a martini sitting there or something, I don't know.
And what would you be doing in the outfield?
Martini?
Yeah,
I said, what would you be doing in the outfield?
I'd be having a Manhattan, so.
Are you making a motion to defer, or?
No, I think we should vote on it.
Well,
Again, my suggestion would be that we do defer it, take a tour, have you guys create some limitations, and I'll make that motion.
I'd second that motion.
the motion is to defer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
The motion to defer has been denied.
I'll make a motion, we accept it as is.
It's already on the table like that.
Yeah, that's there.
It's already on there.
Oh, okay.
So, any further discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Passes 3-2.
There we go, that was a long process. It worked though.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Where are we? Voucher approval.
Motion to approve utility vouchers in the amount of $71,652.53.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion,
Passes.
motion to approve tax vouchers in the amount of $252,497.36.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Motion to approve general fund vouchers in the amount of $315,231.48.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
And motion to approve wire transfers for payroll transmittals in the amount of $367,678.07. It's your turn.
Second.
Sorry.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. City officials reports, there are none tonight, except, actually, I take that back. The first meeting in April has been canceled, as we discussed last meeting, so the next one, there'll just be one April meeting. Communications and miscellaneous business as authorized by law. Is there any updates on any of the liaisons? We're going to be coming into our organizational meeting. If you want to be on certain committees, you make an appointment to talk to me or come in and talk to me about what you want. I'm not necessarily going to grant what you want, but it's nice to know what you want. It helps with those appointments. So make some time in the next month if you can do that. Future agenda items, anything? Motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned at 6:56.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. What he said.